But also, don't you think it's funny that like every caller today has been like, how do I get away from people?
Every caller's been like, Alison, an esteemed guest, save me.
That's you.
Please save me.
They're like, people are hell. How do I get out of here? This
is my location. I'm calling. They're coming. Wait, please.
Hello, I'm Alison Roman, and welcome to Solicited Advice, the podcast where I get to do what I love most, give advice. Each week, I'm joined by a very special guest and several very special advice seekers as we do our best to solve all of, or at least one of, your problems. And just a reminder, if you would like to call our advice hotline, you can call the very memorable number 856-502-4816. That's 856-502-4816. Today's episode is sort of loosely based around the concept of friendship. We get a lot of questions about, everything, but a lot of them shockingly involve sort of like the delicate balance of like, I've outgrown a friend, or what is the thing that I owe this person? I was just reading this New York Times article about B-list friendships, and I feel like that everybody should read if you also have questions about friendships. But how do we, figure out if somebody is too clingy? How do I deal with somebody that I kind of want to break up with? It's interesting that we have a lot of tools at our disposal to talk about romantic relationships, but not as many to talk about friendships. So we're going to get into all of that today with our hilarious and esteemed guest, Jay Jurden. Jay Jurden is a New York-based writer, comedian, and actor. He has done everything from The Tonight Show to The Late Late Show to The Stephen Colbert Show to making an appearance on HBO's High Maintenance, which is one of my favorite television shows of all time. He's written for numerous publications, including Vulture, Teen Vogue, McSweeney's, and The New Yorker. And he's on tour for the rest of the summer, so if you like what you hear, you can go see him. You can visit jjurden.com/gigs. Oh yeah, we just went right into it. It's like we've known each other for years.
I know. Well, I mean, I've I've not cooked while watching any of your stuff, but I was been like, that looks fun.
I do the same thing while I watch your comedy. I'm like, that looks
wonderful.
Fun. He looks fun. I'm not there physically, but I'm like, looks like a good time.
The people who can put an iPad up, watch, and cook, and like keep their dog out of the room. Those people, the people who can do all that stuff while they're cooking, hats off to them. Can't do it.
Yeah, well, it's also like the sort of efficiency thing we were talking about. Like those people, I feel like obsessed with efficiency.
See, not me. There's this myth right now. We kind of jumped into it, but there's a myth currently that queer men walk fast. And I just want to say, as a Southern man who is also queer and also Black, I saunter. I stroll. I take my time. I don't know who these people are power walking everywhere in New York in the summer.
Where are you going?
Not me.
Yeah, well, you know what? I do know who those people are, and it's me. I am like, get out of my way. I'm going fast. I'm not looking at my phone, or I'm trying not to. I'm going to the subway. I'm going to the place. I'm feeling like I'm crossing things off a to-do list, and if I don't get there fast, the whole day gets thrown off.
But Alison, I want to free you of the specter of productivity. I want to take that away from you. Also,
I know. But you and my therapist.
When a woman does it, she's a girl on the go. That's a woman on the move. Those are power moves, okay? Mm-hmm. They're called pumps for a reason. I get it.
Wow.
If it's a gay man in New York, just take some time. Look around you. Is there a cutie present? Why are we rushing? Who's behind you? Is it your bully? I don't know.
It's efficiency. It's the demon of efficiency. It's that you're going to miss out on something else because you didn't budget your time properly.
See?
Yeah. Where do you live in New York?
I'm in Harlem.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it up here. I've been here since 2017. I mean, we're supposed to maybe move this year. I doubt it'll happen. Our lease is up. My husband and I don't want to move. I don't want to move.
Because you love your apartment or you love the neighborhood or both?
I love my apartment. I love my neighborhood. I love some of the dogs. Some of the dogs can eat a dick. But a lot of the dogs are nice and beautiful. I have a dog, so
What kind of dog?
So I have a Chow Collie Terrier mix. She is a mutt, but the fact that I know means
Did you get her tested, DNA?
Yeah, we did Embark. We did the doggy DNA test. We did Ancestry.com for dogs.
For
which I
canines?
always like to say, it doubles as an Ancestry.com for people, because if you pay for it, somebody's white. Somebody.
100%. And did you find out you did find out your dogs.
Yeah,
Ethnic makeup.
Because like people just assume she's like collie, but then we know she's part chow, so then we just kind of want to get to the bottom of it.
Do you have a photo you could show us?
Wow.
Or show me?
I can. Yes, of course. I have so many photos.
You're a
of
proud
baby
dog
girl.
father.
Yeah, I'm the papa, and then my husband is the daddy.
What is the difference between a papa and a daddy?
I think
You can answer that however you want. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. This month, a lot
Yeah.
of differences. A lot.
Happy
quite a
Pride, by the
few.
way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you know what? Thank you for being the first person to ever say that.
And in this episode, we will, yeah. And
No
that's why
one-
this June, yeah.
Wait a second. This is such a funny photo of her because she's so sick of me. And
Oh, yeah. Oh, what a chubby baby.
yeah,
Good
she's-
dog.
Yeah, she's a
Very good
cute
dog.
little girl. She also is she's such a good guard dog, and then the minute she sees it's a person that she might like, she's like scary. Then the minute you open the door, if you just say hey, she's always like, I'm kidding, I'm fun.
She's like, you love me. I'm soft and fluffy. She looks
Yes.
like a puffy Shiba Inu, like a big puffy Shiba Inu.
Yes, so there were all these questions because we didn't know what was going on with her, and we just wanted to figure out, what was an appropriate and non-culturally insensitive Halloween costume for her. So that's what we did there.
That's the struggle for us all. You know what I mean? We're looking around. We're listening. We're learning. Yeah. So what did you decide for her?
She went as a banana split. It's fine.
That's beautiful. Maybe I'll go as a banana split next year.
Yeah.
I hate
Ooh.
Halloween. Actually, I don't do Halloween.
You don't do Halloween?
I haven't done Halloween in, I want to say, like 8 years.
Alison Roman,
I
for
know.
you to say Happy Pride and now double back around with this much homophobia,
I'll go to a Halloween party and
Okay.
celebrate those in costume.
All right.
I'm not opposed to others in costume. In fact, I love others in costume.
Okay.
I myself feel deep crippling anxiety about, like, am I too dressed up? Am I not dressed up enough? Am I nailing it? Is it too basic? Like,
Wow.
I can't just go get a costume. I have to think, I'm like, oh no, I'm the mom from the thing in that episode. It's like, I'm the woman in the room that's like, has to explain the costume for you to get it. And I can't do that anymore. It's humiliating.
Oh.
People are like, what are you? And you're like, you don't know, you've never seen that movie, or like, you don't know that poem.
Oh my goodness.
You know?
There's also a very specific type of person who loves Halloween so much that they will go, you didn't recognize, you don't get this? I'm going to give you another shot now.
Okay.
And you're like, no, I don't. You know what? You should also have a footnote at the bottom of your costume. Just have a little piece of paper pinned to you so I can be like, oh, yeah.
Give out
yes.
information.
This was that character from that one scene in Home Alone 3. Oh, yes.
Yes. Like, you could do Pigeon Lady from Home Alone 1.
Yeah, 2.
Oh, was it 2?
Lost in New York. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Home Alone 1, it was the scary
that's right.
neighbor with the shovel.
That's right. The man who turned out to be nice and saved the day.
Who turned out to be nice, but it's still weird. It's
Yeah.
a little weird. He was a mean old man.
But didn't his daughter die?
Someone passed
Something
away.
sad happened. Yeah, there was tragedy behind those eyes. I mean, we mistook it for something nefarious, but it was sad. It was deep sadness.
Grief. It was grief.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into it. Today, Jay, even though we are technically new friends, as in we just met today, but I can tell already lifelong.
Yes.
And please just moving forward, add me to all your shows, and I'll just come. I'll come by. I'll be on the list.
You'll be comped.
Thank you. No, I'm happy to pay. I like to support the arts.
All right, you will pay.
Thank you. But we're sort of loosely today talking about friendship. Okay, so today actually I saw on my Instagram feed, there was a New York Times graphic that was like, what kind of friend are you? And they basically went into 4 categories. I'll read them to you because I already forgot. I mean, this is like when they do like, can you afford to buy a house? Here's a calculator. And I'm like, well, I already know the answer. Like, I don't need the calculator, but like, I already know what kind of person I am. I don't need to like look at this chart, but I do love to look at a chart.
No,
so,
I love any sort of categorization. I mean, that's all we've been doing in society for the past 20 years.
Yeah, put me in a box. Put me right in that box.
Yeah. So let's go.
I want to understand myself. Okay, a butterfly. This is a person who thrives with frequent social interactions, drawn to casual forms of connection, excellent party host, excellent party guest, feel comfortable in almost all social situations. Then we have a wallflower, shy, selective, very tight social calendar, more drawn to casual forms of connection, and like don't go too deep with people. But their superpower is being attentive to others. So like the people that you're like, wow, they really were listening to me, but they didn't really give you much, you know?
Well, is it listening if they just weren't talking?
Yeah, I think listening is the absence of talking, actually.
Okay, sure.
A firefly, which is a person who limits how much social activity they have, but light up when they feel deeply connected to others. In social situations, they tend to be highly present and focused. And then an evergreen, which is a person who feels most alive when they're being nourished by frequent interactions with close friends. They prefer frequent, deep, meaningful interactions with like fewer people, if that makes sense. Okay. Do any of those resonate with you?
Yes, I think I'm closest to butterfly. I think my like inclination, my first instinct is to go, I'm a butterfly sun with maybe a firefly rising or moon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like that. I was going to say butterfly sun with evergreen rising.
Ooh. Yeah, the deep connections. If I had to rank them, I would put like wallflower last, but then it'd be like butterfly, firefly, then it would be evergreen.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think either of us are wallflowers. I don't think anybody that's set up with this situation on a microphone is ever considered that, but I don't want to judge.
Anyone who's ever gone, can we get another one for pickup, is a wallflower?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Okay, but I think our guests are here, so I think Maria debriefed you, but basically these are live callers, so we're going to take them. I don't know what they're going to ask. Neither do you. We're going to let it roll, and we're going to try to help them. Charlie, how can Jay and I help you today?
Okay, so I submitted this question a while ago, but I would still love your advice. I went through a friend breakup a few months ago, and it was somebody that I was really close to, and it was a pretty painful breakup to have like gone through with this person. But I'm ultimately pretty glad to have seen an end to like the conflict and drama that was, resulting of that friendship. But the predicament that I'm in is trying to figure out how to navigate the mutual friendships I have with that person, because they are friendships that are important to me, while minimizing any potential drama, trying to take the high road as often as I can, and kind of trying to move forward while maintaining those more mutual friendships.
Okay, well, first, could you debrief us on what happened? Like, you can give us Cliff's Notes, but
TLDR version. We met during the pandemic, became pretty close, and then kind of as the world became more open and available, I was really busy with work. I got into a relationship with somebody that I'm still with, and I became less available to this person. And they didn't really like that. And I started to kind of set some boundaries around like what my availability was, and they really pushed back. And got pretty frustrated with me, and I was like, look, like, I will always love you, I just don't have all of the time to give to you. And it kind of resulted in that friendship ending, and them kind of like bad-mouthing me to some people about, how I was prioritizing my other relationships, my romantic relationship over my friendship with this person. And I was like, look, like, I want to make time for you, I just can't make all of my time for you. Yeah.
This person sounds like they didn't have a lot going on. Not in a bad way. I'm just like,
Charlie, also, I think that I'm appreciative that we're even able to talk about these situations with this much maturity. So I feel like we can start with a baseline of like, I don't think anyone's evil. If they were evil, my first suggestion, poison. But since we don't have to murder anyone. But
not today.
Not today.
Nope.
Not yet. But social situations with mutual friends can get tricky. I mean, I love a good hi and bye. I'll always be like, what's up? How's everything? Ask the one thing I know that might be going on. Great. Got my answer. We did the dance. Over to the next people.
Sounds like a butterfly, Jay.
Yes.
Our previous conversation. Would you say that, like, because this is also reminding me of like when you're dating somebody and things kind of start to fizzle out and you're like, are we like, and if you're the one being sort of like fizzled out with, like if somebody's pulling away from you, it took me until much later in life to just be like, oh, they're not that into me, or like our friendship isn't that deep. So is there an element here where you're like, yeah, I didn't maybe prioritize as much because like we didn't really have the connection that we once did before?
Yes. And I think that there was like some conflict in this person being so frustrated with me all the time that I was like pulling myself away to the point where they were like, well, actually, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And I'm like, are we 5 years old here? Like,
I know.
Can we not understand like boundaries and like how we have to prioritize time as adults? But yeah, I started to pull away just because I was like, there seems to be an attachment here on your end that isn't as
single white
intense
female
on
style. They wanted to be really close, and you were like, no, I don't have the time that close.
And
Yes,
also, at the
exactly.
risk of starting more mess, when they listen to this episode and they confront you about this now, I think that even understanding attachment styles, not that I don't have a degree, but if their level of intensity was more than you could manage just in your life with the way that the world is set up right now, you voicing that, if they're a good friend, they should understand. And maybe they voiced that they understood, but maybe they couldn't like make that actionable. But like if you go, hey, I have a new boo, I'm also busy with work, the L train is not running right now. There's a lot of stuff that we got. The F turn to the M, then back to the F. I have a lot going on.
Yeah.
So
I literally, go ahead.
If someone is a friend, they go, you know what, I get it, and I'm also accepting of this new version of our friendship based on, because it's not 2020 anymore. It's not.
Yeah.
And like, what is
I
that
also think
quote?
that like today, I'm a friend of mine who's trying to make plans with me. Like, it's like, oh, do you want to have dinner? What about this day? How about this? And I've known this person for close to 20 years. And I said to him, I go, I love you so much. I cannot make plans right now. I just moved. I'm feeling really stressed. Max is out of town. I'm like, I have no bandwidth. Like I had like a bad morning. I was just like, I'm not in the mood right now. Like I'll text you tomorrow. And he's like, great. I love you. You got this. Let me know if you need help with moving. Like, I think the right person and the person of like an elevated maturity and understanding that doesn't come from a place of insecurity, like this is about them, not about you. You know, I think that like if this person felt secure in themselves and didn't come from a place of fear, they would definitely be able to be like, oh my God, don't even worry about it. I can't wait to meet your new person and let me know if you're free for drinks in the next few weeks. And like, I also think the older we get, we do have to sort of like stop putting so much pressure on people to like stay the same, because we don't stay the same. They don't stay the same. And the pandemic was a wild time, and a lot of people became really close or stopped speaking entirely, that then as things got back to normal, like became less close or rekindled their friendship or whatever. It was like a weird time.
Yeah.
To say the least.
And a relationship kind of born out of such an odd time is not going to look the same when things are a little bit better. When I think that like sometimes there was this kind of like global trauma bond where like now there are people who I go, why the hell am I following you on Instagram?
Oh yeah,
you
I'm
know,
like, who are you?
This is the pandemic. The pandemic did this to me.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
I liked what? TikTok? No,
Refresh.
I didn't. Show
Refresh.
me the tape.
Yeah. So wait, so do you still have mutual friends with this person?
Yes, I have.
And is that sort of the question of like how to keep those friendships while also like?
Yes. So like,
How often do you see them?
We communicate pretty often. Like we've got a group text going and we talk at least like once a day, but we don't see each other as often. And when I know that they're still really close, so I want to like, hey, how's your life? What adventures have you been on recently, without like stirring a pot? You know what I mean? Like I don't.
But why do you want to know the answer to those questions?
Because I care about my friends that I still have those relationships with, and like being like, hey, like, what's been going on in your life lately, without like stirring the pot of like, what's going on over there? You know what I mean?
Oh, you're saying you want to ask your friends
That I'm
without
still
asking her.
Yes.
But you're on a group text.
Okay. Maybe I communicated this improperly. So the mutual friends that I still maintain that relationship with, we talk often. I also know that they're still pretty close with this friend that I no longer speak to. And so I'm like, how do I maintain the relationships over here that I care about without like tipping over here where there's drama? You know, I just like, I'm a pretty grounded
Sorry. So when you said I want to like know how your trips have been, I thought you were talking about this other person. I'm like,
no.
Why do you care about her?
I don't. I really I don't.
But Charlie, I think you're doing it. I think your fear is one that's based out of like some sort of interaction in the future where you're gonna have to spend more time than you want with this person in a social setting. But as we're speaking currently, as of today, the day of this recording, you seem to be managing this in the most mature and positive way possible. Now, what I would say is if you really want to blow shit up, play a very passive-aggressive game of Never Have I Ever. That's when you get spicy. But right now, you're handling it.
Yeah.
I think also you're probably beating yourself up more about this because you are kind of grieving the loss of a friendship and a relationship and a level of intimacy with someone that has changed just because stuff changes, as does life. But I think that like even the amount of consideration you've shown so far on this call, I'm like, Charlie, you seem to be. I
Charlie, you're doing great.
Dumb people. You're not one of them so far.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're asking the right questions, but I also think that as a person who has had this happen to, I think most people in their life have this experience where you and someone go your separate ways, but there's still a group of people that link you together, and you're like, fuck, okay. So the way that I've played it, it's almost like an actual breakup with a person that you become close with their friends and you break up, but can I still stay friends with them? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I just ignore. Like, I don't ask about them. I ask about their life. I ask about them. And if they're the right kinds of sensitive people, they're not going to like bring that person into the fold because they know that that's a sensitive issue. There are a lot of things that I love in this life, but I don't know that I love anything more than I love my cats. And I did tell myself that I wasn't going to be a cats plural person, that I was just going to have the one. But then a second floofy, fluffy boy, named Leonard, entered our lives. And I will say that it is more than twice as rich with two cats. It's not like double the pleasure. It's more like quadruple the pleasure. But it also, with that comes more litter to clean. You know, life is short. And if there was a way for someone else to do it for me, I would opt for that every single time. As a special offer to listeners of Solicited Advice, you can go to stopscooping.com/advice and enter promo code ADVICE to save an extra $50 on any litter robot bundle. That's extra 50 off any litter robot bundle at stopscooping.com/advice and enter promo code ADVICE at checkout.
There is also something very, very like 2024 about being like, whoa, my relationship going great. My friendship, we need to talk. Like everyone now is kind of investigating what it means in non-romantic settings to be a good person, to be there for people, because, you know, we need community. We need someone else to talk to. And this is something that a lot of people have probably gone through. And a lot of people, I've handled one of them great, one of them poorly. One of the people that I had a situation like this with, like now it's kind of like a high and by situation, super cordial. Some people, it's not that I even like intentionally did it, but I just like excommunicated them from my life in a way that like looking back on might have not been mature, but you know, you live and you learn.
And I think as long as you're, you know, keeping your side of the street clean, as it were, you are able to like move forward feeling proud of yourself. You can't control what other people are going to do and how they behave.
Yeah, thank you. That's really good advice.
Yeah, but if
Oh my
you
God,
ever want
soundbite.
if you ever want bad advice, if you ever want bad advice, Charlie, we can also do that too.
I do love doing a segment called Bad Advice, and it's like the alternative version of the answer. And like, do you have any bad advice for Charlie?
Oh,
I'm like, spin it. Give me the bad
goodness.
advice.
Okay, just start tagging them in the worst Instagram shit so they always get the notification. Start tagging them. Take a picture of dog poop on the street. Tag them.
Wow.
Tag them.
No, I also think you could have like a sick party and just make sure that everyone they know is invited. No,
Invited.
these are vindictive.
Amazing.
That's bad advice.
Be like, everyone post a story. Talk about how much fun you're having. Everyone post a story. Post a story now. Post a story. Post.
But it doesn't. It seems like you're probably immune to the bad advice because you do seem like a genuinely good person who cares about people.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Which
I
is kinda
try.
disappointing, Charlie. That's kind of how grow up.
Yeah,
Grow
I
up.
I love the petty advice, but I like to take the like clean side of the street.
Yeah. It's like good to have in the back of your mind and be like, I could be bad girl if I wanted to, but like also being like, but no, I'm going to be an adult. Like, there is sort of like a that environment. But yeah, and if things go south and you're like, wow, they behaved poorly, then like at least you're not feeling like, oh shit, I should have handled that better, which is you're welcome to do as well. We all do it and we all have lessons to learn. But it sounds like you're on the right side of history.
Thank you so much. Oh my
You're so
gosh.
welcome.
This has been so great, y'all. I really appreciate y'all's perspectives.
Oh my gosh, Charlie, are you from the South like Jay?
I'm born and raised and still living in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Hell yeah, I was just in Austin.
Is that the South? I mean, not to sound ignorant.
Okay,
Yeah.
Texas is southern. Austin now is like a weird mix of like the tech South. Did y'all have a falling out because they got drunk on 6th? What happened?
No, I do not go on
I get that
6th
reference,
Street.
by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, there we go.
No, that was not the cause of our falling out. Also, it's like 100 degrees outside and I'm wearing a sweater because it's like 50
I heard it's really
degrees
bad already.
inside of my office. So it's like prepare for anything. That's what Austin is.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, Southern charm also can go a lot. But it's also sometimes being Southern and being like surface level nice just breeds the meanest backbiting comments the minute the person leaves. So, because it's so performative, you're like, well, yeah, oh my, yes, so good seeing you.
Charlie, you're the best and you're doing great. And I think that you're approaching all this with the exact right attitude. And, I think you're on your way.
Yeah.
Thank
Do you
you.
have any advice for us? Since
Yeah,
you seem to
exactly.
be handling shit so well, Charlie.
Oh my God, no. Literally.
Wait, I do have one question for you actually before we
Yeah,
wrap up. But
totally.
Because I won't get into it, but when you broke up with your friend, did you have like an actual conversation or did you just like ghost and like slowly fade away?
So honestly, I was starting the slow fade away where I was like, I need to remove myself from the situation. And then I
And
received
was anyone else in your friend group like an ally for you in that moment? Were you like, is it just me or is this person like...
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had some conversations with the people like in my friend group and I was like, this is the situation. Like kind of like, how would you handle this? Like, is this happening for you? Like what's going on here? And got a lot of support there of just people being like, yeah, that's really uncomfortable. That's awful. I hate that you're having to go through this. Like, I'm not going anywhere. You just like, I'm around. And so I was like, great, awesome. But I started to slowly pull away. And then I received an email that was essentially like, bye. And I was like, okay, amazing. Wish you the best. Honestly,
Wow.
thank you for doing it so I didn't have to. Like,
Yeah.
I think
That's also just so definitive. Like, can't we... What's like the casual sex of friendships where it's like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, but I would like to sleep together occasionally. Like I wish you could be that direct with friendships. It's like you're never getting the intimate invite to like the dinner party, but like if we're going out on a Saturday and there's like people around, like absolutely come by.
yeah, would love to see you, but like,
But I don't want to like invest.
yeah.
That is...
Jay is shocked by that.
Well, only because I didn't ever really think about casual... Because casual sex is friendship, but then to take the sex part away and just be like, you want to go to a restaurant? And you're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Look at us sneaking around.
Yeah. Not infidelity, Jay. Just like not for married people. I just mean like,
But I 100% agree. There needs to be a bit less strict rules, and then some people can't handle that. And if you go, oh, this isn't what I want, this isn't what I want out of this friendship, then some sort of amicable breakup should be established. Wow. Listen, the people who came before us didn't have these options. If this was 20 years ago, you would have had like a big argument at a wedding. huge. You would have
Yeah,
ruined
somebody would have gotten
someone's
drunk
wedding.
and cried and ruined someone's wedding. That's
Charlie,
actually
you
correct.
would have, and y'all would have. What would have happened is you would have been in the same bridal party, and that person would have said one thing about the placement of the photo, and it just would have gone.
Earrings are off, hair is
Earrings
pulled
are
back.
off. The bride's crying. The groom
Yeah.
is confused because he hasn't been paying attention.
No.
He's just smoking a
the
cigar.
groomsmen, hot. The groomsmen are hot. And that is the only saving
There's a
grace.
bridesmaid making out with a groomsman in the corner. Like,
Yes.
those are, yeah.
Total
I love this
chaos.
wedding. In fact, I'd like to go to this wedding. Okay. Charlie, thank you so much. We hope that was really helpful. And
It
we
was,
wish you the
thank
best
you.
of luck in all your friendships moving
Yeah,
forward.
thanks for your time today, guys.
Of course.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh. I feel like, so it's funny that we did like a friendship based episode because I feel like most of the questions are friendship based. And like, I am shocked at the presence of maturity of some of these young people. And not to
Well,
assume she was very young, but like,
We've just been able to talk about it more. I think people have had to sit with their feelings more. I think anyone who's even taking the step of like calling and being like, how do I handle this? They are so far as far as like consideration in front of where we used to live. Because I don't want to become a back in my day, but back in my day, cut it off.
Yeah, cut it all off.
We're
Yeah.
not even talking anymore.
We're
and
not
if
talking.
I see you, it's gonna be a problem. I'm leaving the restaurant.
we're not talking about it, and I'm not talking to you about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, fuck you.
I've never, I mean, the last time I had like a real friend breakup that was like that crazy was I was under 25. Like that felt feels like very youthful.
Yeah. That's definitely like I've in college, not as much in grad school. In undergrad, I had a couple of fuck you. In fact, don't ever come over here again.
Because
But
they
once
did
again,
something wrong, or you just like had
no,
it.
It was just like, case in point, sometimes you'll have friends and your friends you're friendly and you're close with them, but because of college's kind of like vices, you just hang out with semi-functional alcoholics, and then you get into fights about them doing dumb shit, and there's no subtlety, there's no nuance at that point, because then both of you were screaming, and both you're like, you can't do that, those kind of fights.
Yeah. Those are, I don't have those anymore.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
God, because of therapy.
Me neither.
But yeah.
But
And personal growth.
in college, of course.
Yeah. Well, one of us didn't go to college, Jay, so I never had the pleasure, but I did, I can imagine it, but
You listen, go. You know what I say? Go back now. Nothing is happening.
how funny. It would be like Legally Blonde, except I'm just going to school. Like I'm not trying to be a lawyer. I'm just at school and I'm old.
Go back now just for the fights. Just for the fights.
I would teach them so much. I would be like the most popular person on campus because I would tell everybody how to maturely navigate the ins and outs of being 21.
Hello, Lauren.
Oh, a little puppy. Hi, Lauren.
I'm good. How are you?
We're great. Can we see this dog? Is like your dog in the room right now?
No, my dog is in. I'm in the office, and she has the rest of the house.
Oh, that's so nice. What's her name?
Yeah, Bindi.
Bindi?
Bindi, yeah, like Steve Irwin's daughter.
Is she named after Steve Irwin's daughter?
Named after Steve Irwin's.
See, now that's a
daughter.
Halloween costume I can get behind. I'm
Oh,
Bindi,
yeah.
Steve Irwin's daughter. It just requires
Hey,
too much explanation. Okay.
People love it.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. How can we help you today?
Thanks. So nice to meet you guys. So I am in my mid-30s and really looking to make friends, but I'm finding that it's just much more difficult to do so because of how, spread out everybody is. Basically, people have families and kids and different goals and that sort of thing. And it's funny because I've listened to your show and heard you give a lot of like similar advice to people in their 20s, which was like really possibly helpful at the time and frankly something I probably could have used. But now it just feels like everything's sort of different a little bit. And I wanted to see if, one, that's something obviously either of you have gone through and how
It
you
is
had sort of handled it.
Well, first, where are you?
Brooklyn.
Okay.
Okay. Eventbrite. Eventbrite is gonna be your friend.
Oh, wow.
You have to find things to do on Eventbrite that interest you.
Is this? Are you working for Eventbrite, Jay?
No,
like,
but I mean, like any sort of like, you can look at. It's one of just the fastest, kind of like easiest ways to look at what's going on, because the people who are going to this thing that you're interested in, they have similar interest as you, and going as a person just looking for friends there's so much less pressure than going out and trying to like find romance or going out and trying to like, I don't know, make money or whatever. You're going there.
Yeah, try to make money and make friends at the same time.
You know what? That is actually called an MLM. So what you do
exactly.
is you say,
Tupperware,
hey.
lipstick,
leggings.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah. No, but that's a really good resource, actually. As like, would you consider yourself a social person like by nature, or is it laborious for you? Are you like, oh, this is a struggle for me to like put myself out there?
Yeah, it's more of a thing to like, I feel like I have to do it versus want to do it, maybe.
What do you have anyone at work who you dislike the least?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
That person is on the path
To friendship.
That person could be on the path to friendship.
Have you considered that? Is that an option for you, Lauren?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I've worked with tons, made several like friends, obviously over the years, having worked in different places. Again, it's when I was in my early 20s, it was sort of like everyone wants to go to the same sort of spots and that sort of thing, but that's a good idea.
I also think as people have families, start families, they partner up, like people are just going out less. And I think that this is sort of a question that people ask with like the romantic spin, where it's like, how do I meet people in my 30s? Like romantically, because before we were all going out, no one had kids, no one was partnered up. So it was sort of like a free for all, you know what I mean? And now people are like a lot more set in their thing. But I will say that some of my favorite friendships that I've made in my life have been friends that I met over 35. And I will say that the best piece of advice I can give you, which feels like the most simple, is just like be open and receptive to it. And when you meet someone that you're like, oh, I enjoy this conversation, get their phone number and make a dinner plan. And if you're feeling like I'm scared to commit to the full, 90 to 120 minute dinner, meet for coffee, meet for drinks. Be like, oh, if you do things like running or birding or hiking, or, oh, I'm going so-and-so on Saturday. Do you want to come? Like, and the key here is to make the plan and follow through, which again sounds so obvious, but someone was like, how did you meet these people? Like, because I'll be like, oh, I'm going to dinner with so-and-so. And they're like, who's that? I'm like, oh, they're like a new friend of mine that we became really close in the last 6 months to a year. And they're like, someone literally asked me, they're like, how do you do that? And I'm like, oh, we literally just met and we really liked each other. We made a plan and we kept the plan. And then we just kept making plans. Just like a relationship, friendships actually take work, especially as you get older, because you do need to put the effort in. It's no longer like, we're all just going to be at the same club. Like, how many people do we have in our lives that like, it's like, oh, how did you meet? It's like, I don't know. We just like, were friends because everyone was just around. And it didn't require that much effort.
I also think that you saying that you want to make friends is intentional enough that you will follow through. So like sometimes it's like kind of like carefree and super capricious, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, I'm fine, but like I guess we could do something. But if you want to go out, if you want to have a good dinner, if you want to go see a show, go to a game, do anything. It's summer in New York. There's so many fun things to try to do. I think that like being very vocal about, ooh, let's go do this. This sounds like so much fun. And you have the added benefit of being someone who is like aware that you're searching out friendship. Some people don't even know that they're like, oh, I want more friends. Some people, they'll confuse. They'll be like, oh, do I need a relationship? Oh, do I need a dog? What am I missing? What do I want? But you're like, no, I kind of want a good friend. I want a few more friends. And so I think that this intentionality is like really, really good. That's something that some people can't even voice.
And I don't think that you have to look for people that are in your same boat. Like the people that you may find yourself surrounding yourself with are people that already have a really robust community or friend group that you can then kind of like, oh, here's like a whole group of people that I like because I met one person who's in that group. I think when I hear people asking this question, they're always like, well, everyone already has their friends. And I'm like, well, this isn't like a Drake song. Like, we'd have new friends. We can have new friends. Like, don't assume that people are like, they're full. But one thing, it's like you could get tickets to a thing, get 2 tickets and be like, oh, hey, I'm going to this thing. I have a ticket. Do you want to come? Like, make it easy for people. Not like, hey, there's this thing happening. Should we go? If so, I can get ticket. It's like, no, just be like, I have a ticket. Come with me. You know,
Right.
and like try to find people that have similar interests and like, you know, I don't know. Do you have like extracurriculars that you enjoy?
I am in a running club,
Oh, great.
which
I feel like that's a great place to meet people.
yeah, it's a great idea.
Has there
to-
been like, do you talk to them, the people that are in the running club?
Yes, but not outside of our running club much, I guess.
Oh, make it happen.
Right.
Do you go to like, do you do like, what happens right after running club? I know people are like, I'm kind of, exhausted, but like, is there like any sort of like,
Seems
oh,
hard
okay.
running.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, but it seems difficult.
People usually it's usually first thing in the morning, basically, so people sort of head home for the day. But
Oh.
it doesn't mean you
Is it
couldn't-
during the week or on the weekend?
I usually on Saturdays.
Okay.
They sort of throughout the week, but it's more I do mostly on Saturdays. So that could be
And
like
do
an
you-
easy way to get coffee with someone.
Yeah. Do you do like, this is a silly question, but like, do you do the same running route?
No.
Oh, okay.
It goes sort of all over Brooklyn.
And how often in advance do you have the route?
Like a week?
Cool. I would be
Weekish?
like, oh, we're going to be in this neighborhood. There's this blah, blah, blah that I've always wanted to check out if anyone wants to come with. And like, you can give people the week to like decide, doing something spontaneous is difficult for a lot of people. So being like, oh, should we grab a coffee after this? Like, can be difficult. Not to say that you shouldn't do it, but it, the yield of like,
Right.
yeah, an RSVP of yes is maybe more difficult, but like having the like, oh, next week we're going to be in this neighborhood. There's a blah, blah, blah happening around 11. Maybe we should get coffee and then go to that or something. I'm imagining a society in which everything happens at 11. So it sounds fun to me.
11 is also a no pressure. 11 feels very friendship casual forward.
Right.
Yeah. It's like
it's
fertile ground for new friendship, 11 a.m.
Yeah. Also, what do you have anything like at night that you can say, hey, this person in the running club who I vibe with, we're going to see each other at the running club. We're going to double confirm the plans Saturday morning and Saturday night. We're going to this thing.
Yeah.
I think start there
great.
because you already are familiar with these people. And then like all it takes is just asking people to do something once and be like, oh, and if they're like, oh, I can't this week, but like would love to another time, or like, what about next weekend? Like, make sure that be communicating, be telecasting that you are open for business, that you're receptive, that you're down to hang, you want to do stuff, you are an active member of taking advantage of living in this beautiful, beautiful city. And, like, go from there. But beyond that, just make the plan and stick with the plan.
I think like
Don't
just
flake.
starting small and being active is a huge, simple way to do it.
Do you take your puppy to a dog run or a particular park?
I do. I mean, I live in a area of Brooklyn that's like dog central. I was gonna say. So there's like I've met a ton of neighbors and stuff.
Yeah.
Too.
Whoever's dog you like the most, whoever like your dog gets along with the most, like that's always a good. You go, oh, our dogs get along. Hey, I think just like introductory questions, work questions, life questions can very easily lead to like, oh my gosh, I mean, at one point, they've since moved, but like some of the people who ended up like living super close to me and my husband, who we became friends with, we met at the dog run, and then we found out they lived super close to us. So then we got dinner with those people, and then like I started hanging out with them, and I liked them just based on like truly like a dog is like such a wonderful way to kind of initiate any conversation.
Yeah, I agree. As a person who doesn't have a dog, I co-sign that as based on friends with dogs. But, I think you got to like go at it from like a, not just I'm going to the dog park with my dog, but like I'm going to the dog park and I'm going to like say hi to somebody and I'm going to like at least exchange information. And then, it doesn't have to happen overnight, but acknowledging that you want to make new friends is a huge first step in making new friends. And like, that's the kind of thing that you're going to attract if you start to put it out there.
Right.
And ask questions. I think it's not just about like saying, hey, I want to be friends. I met someone at the airport this weekend. They saw a shirt I had on. They asked me about the shirt. I asked them about a sticker on the laptop. It turns out we had like 10 mutual friends.
And it was 11 a.m.
It was 11 a.m. My flight was delayed. I got annoyed, but it happened.
Yeah. But also, like, do you like cooking, Lauren?
I do.
Okay, I sort of assume, not to typecast, but that's like also
because of me.
Because of Jay. He's excellent in the kitchen. But people that do things like cookbook clubs or whatever, also like just basically honing in on your common interests, running, dogs, cooking. Not to reduce you to 3 things, but like really helpful. And then
we got a cooking pun in here.
And then okay, well that was not intentional, but you can really like go far with that because you already have a base layer of commonality, and I think just like going in there can be really helpful. So
cool. Cool.
Well, we wish you the best of luck on your journey of friendship, Lauren.
Thank you so much.
And it's New York City. The world is your oyster.
Yeah, it's summer. It's like not even peak
I'm actually
going
to give you my friend's number. He's really fun. His name is Eric Adams. He is not busy at all.
He's always at Zero Bond though.
He's very available.
Get in.
He's at the club. You should go out with my boy Eric. He ain't doing nothing.
He's very not busy. Okay. Well, thank you, Lauren. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye. Hello, everybody. I would love to take a second and thank our sponsor for this week's episode, Seed. I am notoriously, not the best at taking care of myself, especially in the summer. I feel like summer is an all bets are off, a time to cut loose and be free and enjoy yourself, which, means I work more than usual because that's my idea of fun. But I do feel like especially as I get older, I'm trying to find different ways to take care of myself, like, my nightly skin routine and taking my vitamins and taking my Seed, which keeps my sort of interior situation operating at a very high level. And for that, I'm extremely grateful. The other thing that I love about Seed is that compared to other sort of mail delivery subscriptions that I've received in the past for other like vitamins or supplements, I love that they come in one glass jar. And then from then you get all of your refills in this compostable little pouch, which makes me feel a lot better about like not buying single-use plastic, like not ending up with 42 glass jars that I don't know what to do with. And I know that's like a small, but for me, genuinely effective way of delivery. So thank you. So support your gut health this summer with Seed's DS01 Daily Symbiotic. Go to seed.com/Alison and use code 25Alison to get 25% off your first month. That's 25% off your first month of Seed's DS1 Daily Symbiotic at seed.com/advice. Code 25advice.
Sometimes it feels like it's like famine or feast with friends.
Absolutely. I've actually recently been like, no more social things for me right now. I'm like, I think I have too many friends.
Yeah.
I think I know too many people. It's not that
just a flex, flexing.
Well, I feel like because also I'm like immediately like in it with people, and I'm a people pleaser, and I hate saying no, and I hate like disappointing people, and I'm like, well, if I say no too many times, they're going to stop inviting me to things, and then won't be included. It's like, no, but I'm paring back. I'm eliminating.
Yeah, and sometimes it's okay to, say I don't even know if I'll be able to do this. You kind of said it earlier when you're like, I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the energy. I have a crazy week. I love you.
But new friends won't understand that. I can say that to that person because we've known each other for 20 years. But if we're just getting to know each other and I'm like, I know we were supposed to have dinner tonight or make plans, but like I just simply can't. I'm going to be like, okay, see you never.
Wow.
you know? So it's tough. It is tough.
It's a relationship.
It is work. New friendships are work. Okay, Jay, do you cook? Do you cook? Does your husband cook?
I have cooked. I like to cook. I'm not cooking nearly as much as I should be right now. Okay. But I love food.
You know, I'm not cooking as much as I should be right now either, and I think that's okay. I know.
Just moved.
Just generally speaking, I feel like in the last like month, I've been like kind of out of the kitchen, and I'm like really craving to be back in it, which I'm sure you can relate to.
Yes.
I can just tell you're just dying to get back in that kitchen.
Listen, I'm a traditional man. I believe a man's place is in the kitchen.
That's right. Same.
Cooking for his husband.
That's right. Same.
It's like the Bible says.
He's very lucky to have you. Such a traditionalist. What's your husband's name?
Garrison.
Garrison. That's so sweet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How'd you guys meet?
We met the most traditional queer way ever. It was undergrad, theater department. And once again, I don't like to rock the boat. So
No, you want to stay the course.
Yeah. That's the way my grandparents met. That's
That's
so we met and we didn't know we were gonna be together for this long. We've been together going on 13 years. We've been married for almost 2. Coming up in July, it'll be 2 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, okay, so the next portion of the show is Chef's Kiss callers. These are not live. They're just voicemails that we will answer. And if, they tend to be cooking related, but sometimes not. And again, I don't know what they are, and neither do you. But even if you don't know, you can also chime in with your own questions.
Ooh, of course. I love when I know just enough about something that I can like go off the rails.
Okay, same.
Hi, Alison. This is Maddie from Chicago. I wanted to call because I have a coworker who is constantly asking me to get drinks after work. And she's quite a controversial coworker, so we just don't have much in common. She always messages me to talk badly about other people that I like, and just kind of, we don't have much in common. I keep saying I can't make it that day, and she pushes the happy hour out. It is now June, and I've been pushing this out since February. How do I tell her I'm not interested in hanging out with her outside of work?
Ooh.
Now everyone I know is going to think I'm talking about them. I'm not talking about you. I promise. If you're listening to this, I'm definitely not talking about you. But yeah, fuck, that is so hard. So that's why I asked Charlie, like, how did you actually break up with this friend? Because how do you just tell someone that when there's no romance, to just be like, oh, I don't have any interest in taking this further than the amount of time that I already have to see you.
Listen, you know what I say? Take the one happy hour. Just the one. Take the one happy hour.
Wow.
Get all of the evil gossip out and then never do it again. Be like, that was wild. We never...
I did do that with someone once.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're talking shit about your friends at work. I gotta go. I'm messy. I gotta go. I can be like, oh yeah, tell me more. I'm gonna go back to the friends. And then this is what needs to happen. Then at work, you have to firmly plant yourself on the side of your friends so that person knows they fucked up. You go to the
they
happy
won't know.
hour.
It doesn't sound like this person's very self-aware, but
it's recon. Oh, you're a double agent. I love this.
Yeah. Okay. I do think that the easiest way out of this is to just go. But if there's a way to like loop others in,
yes.
You know what I mean? Be like, oh yeah, I would love to go, but I said I would get drinks with so-and-so. Is it okay if they come?
Yes.
Make it sound like you're only available when it's inconvenient for them, because they then might be like, oh, we can reschedule. You know what I mean? Like, be like, oh, I can go, or be like, I can go, but I have a hard out at 7:15.
Yeah.
I have somewhere to be, even if you have nowhere to be.
And then you show up 6:50. Done. You gotta be there 25 minutes. Easy.
Yeah. I like to sort of be like, I'll do it, but only on my terms for as long as I want.
Get a drink after work within walking distance, so you can be like, I'm so happy we did this, girl. Never again. Bye. Like, just.
Yeah. I wonder if is there an alternative world in which like you don't have to do that?
If they're begging, some people do not pick up on hints. They've been supposed to have this happy hour since February. It is now June.
We're never getting together.
Moving it.
No.
Come on.
No. And most people that I've done that to, after like the 4th or 5th time of being like, I can't, they stop asking. And then a part of me feels bad. I'm like, oh, they got the hint. They must
February to
think
June.
poorly of me.
That's almost 2 seasons.
No,
February to June?
No. Yeah, I guess just go to the one. And then at least you can be like,
girl, that's a semester. That's a semester.
Yeah, a lot of personal growth happens in that time period.
What?
You could meet someone in theater studies. Okay, yeah, just go to the happy hour. That's our advice. Next caller.
Hi, Alison. This is Harley. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and I have a question for you about wedding cake. I'm getting married in a couple weeks, but I would love your opinion on where you could look for wedding cake inspiration, what you'd recommend someone would do, if you had like a friend who was a good baker, how you would instruct them, anything about casual wedding cakes.
Did you have a wedding cake, Jay?
Also, we have to talk about this. Casual wedding cake? No
Well,
such thing.
I know. That's
It's
just
a
a
wedding.
cake. That's a
It's
cake.
a wedding.
Yeah, that's just
You
cake.
going to Kroger to pick up your wedding cake? I don't think so.
No.
You going to Ralph's?
Yeah, that's
No.
casual. Oh, I love
That's
Ralph's.
a casual cake.
That's casual. Did you have a cake?
We had a cake.
Was it casual?
It was not casual, and by that I mean it was like chocolate. It was tiered. It was like blocky and kind of square. We had a really cool like sort of like garnish like floral piece on it that I was like, take that off so we can cut into this. So I think casual. It's your wedding.
No,
girl.
I didn't have a
Casual?
wedding cake for that reason. I was like, I can't. I think a wedding cake should not be casual unless you're just doing a sheet cake. And in which case you can be like, I just want a sheet cake. I want it to feed as many people as possible. And I prioritize deliciousness over aesthetic.
Okay. This is
To be structurally sound and like be able to withstand like the heat, the moving, the everything of like a fussy wedding cake, like sometimes I think they don't taste very good.
Yeah, this is when I become a Southern grandma. I don't care if it tastes good. Make
Right.
it look good.
Oh, okay. See, that's one approach. And then the other approach is make a really delicious, maybe soft, like yummy, like soft frosting, butter and oil cake, like delicious. You could eat it with a spoon style cake.
Yeah, I'm
You know what I
pro
mean?
butter. Pro butter.
Yeah,
Pro,
obviously. We need both. But anyway, I would say like if your friends are good bakers, it depends on how close you are. I've made wedding cakes for 3 or 4 friends. And
Allison,
I've never done
that's
it.
a
It's been
high
years.
level of friendship.
It's been years since I've said yes to that. That's closed. I'm closed for business. I will not be doing that moving forward.
You heard it here first. Allison Roman will not make your gay wedding cake.
No, I won't.
Any cake at all, but none.
Yeah, exactly. Not for a gay wedding or a straight wedding, just to be clear. I'm an ally above all. And I would say that like the directive should be like you need to start either, again, like decide, are you going looks or taste? Because if it's looks, it's very easy to just mood board. Look on Instagram, like literally type in like wedding cakes or like look at the people that you follow. If there's people that they follow, it is wedding cake season. We are down to the wire. I mean, assuming you're getting married in like August, let's hope, we got to make some decisions. But like there are a lot of people that will do it, but also a lot of people are probably already booked up.
Yeah,
Which isn't very helpful advice. I'm like, the advice is to go back in time and book this weeks ago.
Yeah, we are if it's like wedding season. If it's off season, if the planning is just starting now, then I guess like fall-ish, middle of the fall.
Yeah,
if you
let's
want
say
to cool off,
let's say late summer, early fall. Really nice time to get married as a person who did that. But I think you need to be really clear on what you want, what you and your partner want. Be like, are we in it for the looks? Are we in it for the taste? If you're in it for the taste and you don't actually care about cake, like I didn't have a wedding cake, I had wedding desserts. And so like that's a way to do it too. You know, because I did want it to be casual. I didn't want like a cake cutting moment. I didn't want to like have that whole thing. I kind of wish that I did. But we don't have to talk about it.
I
That's
have a
different
cake
episode.
cutting moment. I love it. If you want a cake cutting moment, we were never going to do the smash without
In the face thing? No, that should be illegal. That should be literally, you should get a
Those-
ticket if you do that at your wedding.
When I see it happen and it's agreed upon, do you? When I see it happen and one person looks genuinely surprised, jail. Lock them up.
I don't like it
Throw-
either way,
throw away
if I'm
the
honest.
key.
If you decide, if that was a bit that you and your partner determined that you were going to do beforehand to look spontaneous, even more of a ticket. That's like not for me. Anyway, but yeah, there's a lot of people out there that can make you wonderful dessert. It doesn't have to be cake, and that's advice for everybody getting married. Next caller.
Hi, Alison. This is a listener from Ohio. How do you stop your friends from talking about weight in regards to food? Like, whenever we're having dinner together or having a treat or doing anything, it's always so much talk about oh, I'm going to regret this later. Oh, I can have this little treat, but I'll make up for it later or something like that. And it's really annoying. And I would just like to have a meal and enjoy a meal and not think about food in regards to weight all the time.
That's so tough.
It's part of the weird kind of culture we're in currently, where like food is like seen as like a reward for working out instead of just enjoying food because food tastes good. My response as a comedian is I casually and kind of humor focused. I take it out there. I'm like, oh, girl, don't nobody care. Oh, we won't tell anyone then. Like, just be very light. I think when it starts to become toxic, like when it starts to be like, oh, well, you shouldn't have this. You can be like, hey, are we going to enjoy our food or are we going to count macros? If you want to count macros, we shouldn't come to this restaurant because this is not what this restaurant is about. You want to go back there and talk to the chef? You want to talk to the pastry chef?
Yeah. I do think though that like, as with anything that somebody in your life is like talking to you about that you're like, I don't vibe with that. Like those don't align with my values. It is okay to say something. I think if I were you and this person was doing this a lot, I'd be like, hey, I don't know quite how to say this, but I will say that for whatever reason, I find it very triggering or upsetting to me personally. The frequency in which you discuss like calories or like food as a treat, I find it like really, sort of damaging to my own mental health, and just be like, I'm sure you have the best intentions, but that's just like not how I see food. And that's like not how I see life. And I find it, you can always be like, here's my experience and here's why what you're saying is harmful to me or whatever. I used to date somebody whose parents were like that. And every time we were together, his parents, especially his mom, would make some sort of comment that was like, oh, you sure ate a lot. Or like, oh, like, we'd be like ordering into a restaurant or like at somebody's house. And it would be like, oh, I couldn't possibly eat all that. I mean, look at my plate. Like it was like constantly the topic of conversation. And it was like every time it was like, oh, someone finished all their food. Like it was like, and I had to say something to him. I was like, listen, I have a really tough time being around your parents when there's food around because it's such a value judgment and it's such like, and it's not about you, it's about them. So like, this friend is so clearly like constantly thinking about food in their own body and like their own shame spiral and like what is good for them or not. But like, that should not, you have to like put up a boundary there and be like, you know what? I don't think it's healthy for you. And I know it's not healthy for me.
Ooh, yeah. If you have friends that you don't get along with, you have friends. Don't hang. They're friends. You don't gotta hang out with them.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I guess it's like, let's also just be like, okay, for like advice in life, like what are some things that you can talk about with people that like you're not going to tiptoe into politics or like, I mean, politics to me are very easy to avoid if like you're like
straight up politics. But I mean, food. Yeah. Well, food isn't inherently political, but it's historical, regional, and.
Of course. I mean, everything is political if you
so
go down that route, but you're also like, oh, cool, you have a dog, I have a dog.
Yeah.
Like, you could be like, oh, where's a good place to get a great fish and chips or whatever, like you can like do things like think about what's universal. Everyone eats. Most people like pets. Most people have one.
Movies, TV, live events.
Movies or TV can also highlight your differences.
Oh, well, see.
In a way where you're like, I can't believe this person likes that or wants to watch that. Like, we're really not making any progress here. But isn't it bewildering, though, how you can be like, wow, I'm so close with this person, and everyone they surround themselves with is insufferable.
No, not everyone. Because then I look in the mirror and be like, oh, no.
They're like, it's me. But also, don't you think it's funny that like every caller today has been like, how do I get away from people?
Every caller's been like, Alison, an esteemed guest, save me.
That's you.
Please save me.
They're like, people are hell. How do I get out of here?
This is my location. I'm calling. They're coming. Wait, please.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that like making small talk is one of the most painful things a person can do. I personally would, oh my gosh, the other day, okay, so the other day, I went to the farmer's market and I was with my husband. We ran into a friend of mine, like one of my best friends. Like we were very, very close. We were catching up. A woman approached her and was like, oh my God, hi, da da da. And you could just tell my friend was like, I'm in and out. Like I'm running an errand. I'm not here to socialize. We just happen to see each other. And she goes, oh my God, hi, I love your sweater. Gotta go. And it was so beautiful and executed so well that like, hey, acknowledging, saying hello, giving you a compliment, and then saying goodbye.
Yeah, that compliment.
It was so awesome.
That compliment, that really eased
I love your sweater, gotta go is
love your sweater.
Fucking
Bye,
awesome.
Alison. I was just going out. I love at a party making a loop. I'm saying goodbye to this is what I do. I'll tell the with a minute I decide. I go, hey, I'm about to make a loop and say goodbye to people. I'm gonna come back to you and then I'm out. Cause I always go, hey, I'm not just gonna turn and leave, but I'm telling you right now, when you see me saying hey, saying bye to all these people, it's happening for real. This in one of those, cause like in comedy settings, you end up being out till 3:00 if you don't say goodbye. You can learn how to say goodbye. So
no, I was out to 3:00 the other night because I couldn't say goodbye because it was like I was saying goodbye for 5 hours. It was so awful, but it's my own fault. But love your sweater, gotta go. But like also these people, you can just be like, oh, like just keep it surface, you know, and like don't try to go there. Don't try to like excavate their innermost whatever or like get to know them on any sort of real level. Just be like, oh my gosh, what are you drinking? That's cool. Yeah, I normally go for like a hoppier ale.
Yes.
Like, I don't fucking know, but like just keep it light, keep it moving and be like, we're never going to connect. But you might surprise yourself and maybe there's like one person in that group that you're like, that's like, can you believe these?
Exactly. There might be one person who goes, can I tell you something? And they go, are you about to say what I think you're about to say? I hate blank.
Those friendships are wonderful. The friendship that is born out of like a mutual, not disdain, but like a mutual sort of like no thanks to someone else that you didn't know. Like when you're like, oh, am I the only person who sees what's going on here? And then you meet one other person in the group and they're like, no, I thought I was crazy. I'm like, no, wait, you see it too? And then you're like, wow, we're friends forever.
Because you validated them. They had a fear. They're like, am I alone in thinking that this is going on? And you go, no, you're not alone. That's true connection.
I know. I love it. Jay, we have to wrap up because I have therapy in 20 minutes.
Okay.
And I need to go eat a spoonful of peanut butter or something. I love going from recording this episode to doing therapy, but my favorite is when I do therapy and then record because I do feel like I have like a ratatouille situation going on where like I've just been therapized and so like I'm like feeling really sharp.
That's funny.
This episode did give me a lot to think about with some of my friends that I should unpack.
I was thinking about the people I need to text after this and just be like, hey, thinking about you. Just like, you know, putting out positive stuff to my friends that I probably have been ignoring because of this tour situation.
Yeah. Are you on tour right now?
I am on tour, but a lot of comedians are kind of on tour forever based on the nature of the industry right now, but I'm on tour. But yeah, I was thinking, I probably could text them. I probably should text them. Let me text them.
You know what? Let this be the sign that you, the listener, need to text at least 3 people that you've been reading to reach out to. You don't need to make plans with them. You can even just be like, I'm thinking of you. I saw this thing or blah, blah, blah. Would love to catch up soon. Like keep it in and out. Don't expect a response, but this is your sign. Text those people that you want to maintain a friendship with that you're like, oh, I've been like not totally attentive to.
And added bonus, maybe one newer person. One new person. Be like,
that's a lot of homework.
I like your energy. I like the time we hung out. Let's find something to do. Something to do.
Yeah. And then they'll be like, is this more than friends? And you'll be like, no, I'm married. And they'll be like, okay, this is weird. New friendships are hard.
Yeah. You got to ask.
Yeah, I know. Jay, you are such a delight and you're so funny, and remind people where they can find you this summer.
You can find me online on Instagram with just my name, Jay Jurden, JayJurden. Also, I'm going to be on tour. I'll be doing my hour in New York in July. I'll be in Chicago at Zanies in August. I'll be in Tampa. I'll be in Fort Lauderdale. I'll be in Orlando. So I'll be out Grand Rapids. So I'll be all over. I'll be on tour. So just check. If you Google my name, the tickets will pop up.
Okay, perfect. Well, can't wait to see you in New York.
Yes, come, please.
I'm going to follow through.
You're comped.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jay. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Solicited Advice is hosted by me, Alison Roman. Our podcast is produced by Maria Robbins Somerville with the help of Elena Rodriguez Villa. Video editing by Leah Somerville. Our theme music was created by Joseph Monroe. You can watch a video version of this podcast on my YouTube channel. And for questions, sponsorship inquiries, or anything else, please visit us at AlisonERoman.com/podcast.